So good morning, dear friends. I have to talk in the mic not because you don't hear me, but because we have online streaming, so people will hear much better like this who are now watching us online from different countries. Thank you so much for coming. Exactly 20 years ago, I played my very first concert in Austria. That time I didn't know that it's the beginning of such a nice musical journey which still goes on, and I didn't know that Austria will become my home, one of my homes. And because it's 20 years, so I thought to celebrate it a little bit with these two special concerts. Yesterday we had a really nice concert in the evening, and it was not only my first concert in Austria, but it was also my first concert with my wonderful friend and great musician, Gerhard, who supported me that time very much. Actually, all of them who organized, I was overwhelmed how they received me, because I was first time in this country. I had no idea how to organize, and I didn't speak the language, nothing. But they were so welcoming and so warm, Gerhard and others who helped to organize, that I'm still here because of them also. So we celebrate also our 20 years of work together with Gerhard. And now we will play Indian classical music. It will be all, as usual, absolutely improvised. Like we always play our music. We don't have any fixed notes or compositions. We just create music on the spot, like talking. When I'm talking now, I'm also improvising, and it's all spontaneous. Spontaneous expression of emotions and feelings through music. And the musical improvising which we do is based on traditional rules. That's why it's called Indian classical music. And the important rule we call raga. This is the melody form. There are many of them, hundreds of them actually. Some of them are very old, some of them are modern. And each raga has a name. It has a melody structure, up and down the instrument. It has important notes. It has typical phrasing, like sentences in the language, a certain word order. So we have also certain notes order in the phrasing of raga. And each raga in North Indian system even has a special time of the day when it has to be performed, or special season of the year when it should be performed. So we talk about morning ragas, evening ragas. Some ragas are for springtime, rainy season, many ragas, autumn, and so on. So this is the connection of our music to nature, to the sun, to the time of the day, to the earth. This is the time of the year. Very interesting and beautiful system. And the second important idea, because there are some tabla students here also, so is the tala, the rhythmic cycle, which is very simple to explain. It's going on like a clock in the cycle, and we have a fixed amount of beats, which can be from 5 to 16, any number. This is also something traditional. This we cannot change. Once we choose the tala, we have to stay within that tala. This is created by, like raga, created by great masters long time ago. So there is a certain pattern on the drum which is played, traditional pattern which everybody knows for each cycle, for each tala. And that's what keeps us together in rhythm and in time, because we meet on beat number 1 of that cycle. You can see these moments all the time coming when we are meeting. So this is the beat number 1 of the cycle. So these are the two basic guidelines of our language, and the rest is just free, open. We just create it. And I begin with the beautiful morning raga, late morning, which is called Gurjari Todi. Todi is an important scale in Indian music, very old scale. There is a full group of ragas which are ending with name Todi. So this is one of my favorite, Gurjari Todi. I will play a short introduction, which is called Alap. That's the traditional introduction, where I try to show you the raga, the melody. And then we will improvise with Gerhard on tabla. On the interesting rhythmic cycle, the tala of 10 beats, which is called japtal, we divide 10 by 5 plus 5. And 5 we divide by 2 plus 3. So actually what is going on in our mind, in our heart, when we are playing is 2, 3, 2, 3, that pattern. And that keeps us, already gives us some format, some discipline for improvising. That's the idea of the tala. So tala japtal then will be followed by most famous rhythmic cycle in India, 16-beat tintal in the faster speed. Raga Gurjari Todi. so many things with the instruments between. It looks like we are repairing them with the hammers. But this is how Indian instruments are made. In India, people are not in a hurry. They have time, so they constructed the instruments in such a way that you need some time to prepare them for the next piece. In fact, the tabla is tuned with the hammer to the note, which is the main note of my raga, and it goes out of tune a little bit by playing, so it has to be tuned many times again with the hammer. And sitar, I can tell you just few words about the construction, because there are few new people. This is the most famous Indian instrument, which became so known around the world thanks to my guru, Pandit Ravi Shankar, who introduced it in the international scene, and it became a trend in the 60s and 70s when all the many rock bands started to use it in their music. So this is now the most famous Indian instrument, though in India there are a lot of other instruments like sarod, santur, flute, many instruments. But sitar is known to us. And originally sitar is not from India. It is from Persia, from the modern Iran. Even today in Iran there is an instrument called sitar with EH, sitar, which is much smaller, but that's the original sitar. When Persians invaded India, they, around medieval time, maybe like 700 or more years ago, they brought their own culture, their own instruments, and they brought this little Persian sitar, and it got mixed with ancient instrument in India, which was Vienna, and that way modern sitar was born around 700 years ago. So today it is known as Indian sitar. And it has very interesting construction. This resonator is a pumpkin vegetable, and other parts are from wood. And many people ask, what is this here? This is another resonator, which is also made of pumpkin or wood, and it is meant mostly for musician himself. So when I'm sitting like this with the instrument, my head is located exactly between the two resonators, so I get kind of a stereo effect, and it's kind of sitting inside the instrument and listening deeply into the vibrations, because this music originally was used not for concerts and not for entertainment, but for spiritual development, for spiritual practices. And this is what people in India mostly do alone. And then musical instruments were also used for this practice by yogis and saints. So they used to go far away somewhere in the forest or in the Himalaya and sit and play and go into higher state of mind. So it's constructed in such a way that musician himself or herself can be more part of the instrument. That's why this extra resonator. And there are frets which are bound by ropes. That's why I can shift them if I want. They are movable. And there are 7 strings. You see these 7 big pegs. They are the main 7 strings, which I'm actually playing with my hand. And they are running over this bridge, which is made of horn. This is the very important part. This produces this typical tone of the sitar, this little bit longer, rich tone for overtones, because it is filed in such a way that there is a little gap between the string and the bridge. So when the string is vibrating, it hits the bridge, and there is a little buzzing, this effect, which creates this typical sitar sound. If I close this gap on the bridge, you will hear this is more like guitar. Now, when I open, you hear much more overtones and resonance. So this is because of this bridge. And another interesting and unique thing about sitar is this resonating strings. These are these 13 little pegs here along the neck, And this is another layer of strings which is running over this small bridge here. They sound like a harp. This is what I'm retuning all the time between the pieces. So the idea of these strings is that when they are tuned to the notes of our raga, of our scale, when I play these notes on the main strings, the inner strings are resonating and answering like echo, like a special effect. That's why sometimes when I play it, like at home, people ask me, who don't know, they ask me, is it connected to some effect or some amplifying? But it's not, it's just the construction of the instrument itself like this. So very unique and beautiful idea. Nowadays we have many digital effects, like all the pedals on the guitar, but in India they created this effect 200 years ago or longer, mechanically, by adding the resonance strings. Very nice idea. So this bridge combined with the resonance strings bring this richness of tone. And also I'm wearing on my right hand, on the index finger, this little pick like a plectrum. We call it mizrab. This is also a Persian word. It's made of steel wire, very tight, has to sit very strong on the finger, and that also makes this loud sound. And the last, the technique of playing, what is really interesting here, is that there is a lot of space under the first string, so that we can bend the string quite high, up to 5 notes, or 4 or 5 notes, it's possible. So this is made to be able to copy voice, to copy vocal music, because our music is mainly based on singing. It's very ancient music. That time they didn't have sitars and all this, so they used to sing. And later, when they constructed instruments, they planned them in such way that they copy vocal, that they become more like singing. So when we sing, mainly in Indian music, there are many glissandos and sliding movements between the notes. That's why every Indian instrument has a possibility to make this sliding. From one stroke, I can produce few notes. And also this sound is reminding us of sounds of nature, like voices of animals or birds, sound of wind, water. They are all round. There are no steps. So mostly they are round and smooth. Then when we produce it on the instrument, it's very natural, very organic, and it can touch everywhere, every person, not only in India. So this is a little bit about construction and the way of playing. Now, the next piece, I decided to play a raga, or a melody form, which is the same one which we played at that concert 20 years ago. I still remember, there is a video also of that concert. It's called Raga Charukeshi, one of my favorite ragas and one of the favorite ragas of my guru. So I thought we played it that time. Let's also play same musicians, same raga, hopefully same spirit, though 20 years passed. Raga Charu Keshi, very interesting scale. By listening to ragas one after another, you can understand better what is a raga. Now you will hear completely different color. I retuned quite a lot of strings, so raga is a color, basically. And I will start again with the introduction alone. I will show you, I will try to bring out the color of this raga to show you this typical movements and mood of this, the flavor of the raga. And once it is established, we will continue with Gerhard to improvise on the same most famous 16-beat cycle, which we call Tintal, divided 4, 4, 4, 4. Very easy. Slow tempo, then it will become faster. Raga Charukeshi. raga Bhairavi, one of the most famous morning ragas. And we will play it in the folk style, not like until now what we played was classical style. Now we will show a little bit more light folk style. That is what is done traditionally in the concert. And it will be based on rhythmic cycle of 6 beats. It's typical folk rhythm, which we call it dadra, raga Bhairavi. nice energy to take home. For me, this is my home anyway. Thank you so much for coming. Our music is, I feel, can open the best in this kind of home concerts. That is how it was always in India, hundreds of years. People gathered like this in private gatherings. Actually, like also European classical music many times, long time ago, was played in private little like chamber music. And same as Indian classical music, when we can really open the heart and feel this atmosphere. That's why we created this center. So I'm happy that we can continue these events, and thank you for coming. Because of you, it is still possible to go on. And the next event we already planned in December. You got some flyers. It will be the, we will remember my guru, Pandit Ravi Shankar, who passed away on 11th of December 2012. So this year is exactly 10 years. He almost made it 12, 12, 12. That was the end of the Maya calendar. So every December and this time we remember him, and we will play this again, two beautiful concerts when I perform his ragas, the ragas which were created by him, very nice special ragas. So please come if you are here, and if you want to know more about our music, you can anyway come anytime. We are here, we are teaching here and sharing in any possible way. You can leave your email address at the entrance to get more information about events. So thank you so much, and I say thank you to the camera and to the people who are still there. There are still few people online who are watching us from other countries. Thank you for being with us, and see you again.